Morning Hustle Show, L'Oreal, and we have somebody very special in the building this morning. Miss Teedra Moses is here with us.
Hey,
good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, beautiful people.
Yes. How are you doing? You're looking amazing.
Thank you. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very good. Very blessed.
Now, let me tell you something. You have one of the best songs of all time, and
Wow.
we're celebrating it.
Yes.
That's Be Your Girl. It's been how many years?
It's been 20 years.
I refuse.
20 years since
No, it's
my
not.
debut album, Complex Simplicity.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, time flies.
Doesn't it? Because like when I could like pretty much remember what I was doing around that time. I feel like I was working at Bad Boy. I don't think it's safe to say that anymore. But I was working at Bad Boy, and your song, like you could not escape. Like your project, amazing. But I know that Be Your Girl was on the radio at all given time. Do you remember the first time you even heard yourself on the radio?
Well, the first song I heard was You'll Never Find with Jada Kiss.
Right.
Be Your Girl,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
So by the time I got to Be Your Girl, I was like, okay, on the radio. But
So it was normal
yeah.
for you. You didn't. It wasn't this. So it wasn't special.
I mean, not Be Your Girl, because I
Yeah.
had heard the other one before.
Right.
But, you know, listen, I think as an artist, anytime when you're first starting out, you get support,
Yeah.
especially as an indie artist, and I've been indie since the beginning, you just feel really good about the support. You
That's
know?
so crazy. So you was indie before indie was cool
Yeah.
to be indie.
I'm Rosa Parks of the indie people.
Oh, I like that. And they're gonna respect you as such. Okay, you hear me? So, okay, what's the difference now? Because now we have a lot of independent artists, right? Would you say that there's anything different from what it was being independent back then versus independent now?
Well, being independent wasn't respected. It just wasn't. I was on a record label by the name of TVT. I think the biggest artist they had before Lil Jon came was 9 Inch Nails. So it's like it wasn't really respected. Even Lil Jon had a hard time pushing through on the indie route. Just platforms didn't respect it. And
Yeah.
eventually they had to yield to the music. The music was just good. And I think still today some of the best music comes out from indie artists because you don't have the pressure of industry on you.
Right.
You know, it's just like indie music is being made by people that love music and being produced by people that just love music. And I think that's the difference. Back then it just wasn't respected. Now it's like, oh my God, it's so great. You're doing this by yourself. Nah, nigga, we've been doing this by ourselves.
We've
you know
been,
what I mean?
ain't never.
Yeah.
So, but when the major labels have approached you, I'm sure, which was numerous times, did you hear them out, or did you just?
Yeah, until they started talking about 360s when I had already built my publishing on my own.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I built it writing for myself, writing for others, and I was never willing to give up any of my publishing.
Okay, now I know, this is so crazy to me because you've written so many big records for so many people, doing this independently, doing it by yourself. You have your own team, of course, but I didn't even know this. You wrote Dip It Low.
Yeah.
You
Dip
wrote
it low, pick it
what?
slow. Yeah.
Girl, I ain't gonna lie, that was Christina Milian's biggest song, and
She carried that thing.
She carried that. I didn't think she was gonna be able to do it because I always looked at her as an actress. But when she came out with that song, it was really like she really broke ground.
Yeah.
What made you work with her, or like did you pitch the song to
The
her?
thing is, yeah, any song I've ever written for anybody was something I just wrote from my own perspective, and then they would shop for songs, and you know I would have that in my batch. But I think Mary J. Blige is the only person I actually sat down thinking to write a song for someone. But I always just wrote songs, and then they would get picked up or not.
Do you ever feel like regret, like, oh damn, I should have just kept this one in the bag for
No, because
myself?
girl, I wasn't sliding around in the mud.
Ah!
I just, I think she could do that. I can't. I would look crazy doing that.
Well, I was watching something. No, well, I don't know about all that now because
I
you're at the top of a lot of lists.
Listen, I got a lot of ways to do it, but that ain't my way.
That
so,
ain't
you
your,
know
that
what I mean?
ain't your thing. Okay, well, one thing I did see is your thing, and I was like, this blew me away. So, Be Your Girl was actually written about Nas?
Okay, so technically, right?
Okay.
So I used to, back in the days, I used to sit on my sofa and watch Belly over and over and over. Belly and Animal Planet. You know, I'm a herbalist, so I would just be elevating my mind.
Really? Animal
sitting there
Planet.
just watching, just doing like weirdo art stuff. Just sitting there. Because your mind is so full of things as an artist. You need to do things that just quiet your mind.
Yeah.
And I just got into the character in Belly. So it really was about the character in Belly.
You was ready to go to Africa.
I was trying
Throw
to
it
go
all
to
away.
Africa. I was trying to go to, still trying to go to Africa.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, I don't know if it was per se Nas as much as that character. And Nas was already, we all thought Nas was really fine, right?
We thought.
Yeah, we still do. But I'm saying, like, the crush was heavy on everybody's spirit back then. So I just, sat there and I thought about him. I'm looking at him on this movie, and I'm thinking about him in my neighborhood and you know, me being shy. I made up a whole thing. I'm a weirdo artist. You know, I made up a whole scenario in my head and I wrote a song.
And so have you come across him and telling him about this? Has he heard?
Yeah, we talked about it. He's like, well, how is that song about me? I'm like, long story. It was really about, I think his name was Sincere in the movie.
Sincere.
Yeah, it was really about Sincere. We laughed about it. It was cool.
Yeah, so you didn't get a date out of it? That was a good song? Like, you did all that hard work?
I mean, at this point, we both older and, you know.
Yeah.
It was a great song. It's one of my biggest songs. So I think it was well worth the inspiration.
It was. But you could have got a little date, though. He could have took you to Sweet Chicks or something.
We hung out. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't go to Sweet Chicks.
So y'all did? I knew there was some
fun. But it was on some coolness.
Okay,
I don't want to put it out there like that. We just hung out. You know what I mean?
I love that. But you did end up working with, like you said, Mary J. Blige. But you've actually sat down and written songs particularly for her. Have you been able to go in the studio and do that?
No. I'm not really good like that. I'm kind of shy.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like Erykah Badu. I'm sensitive about it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't want people standing over me. So if you just let me go in a corner, because I'm an herbalist. I want to be in my own space, herbalizing. You know what I'm saying? And doing
herbalist like smoking weed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. We on the same wave.
So I like to be in my own zone with no distractions. And a lot of times people want to see, oh, what you doing? Blah, blah. That's a lot. Just leave me alone and let you know. So I prefer to write the song, and then if later they want me to fix something,
then you could come in there. But like, so when you're typically writing or in the studio, you take your time and you like to do that by yourself.
By myself, just me and an engineer. Really, I like to write at home.
Really?
And then I go into the studio and later the vocals.
Like, does it take you a long time though to write?
According to the day.
Yeah.
It's according to the day. Like, sometimes it just comes really quick, and sometimes it doesn't, and I give myself grace, because if you want to write a good song, you don't care about time.
Because I feel like nowadays it's a lot of kids that are coming out and they're like, oh, writing, that's not something I do. I just go in there and off the top of the dome.
And it sounds like it.
It does.
It does.
It really does. It sounds terrible. It's no order.
And I'm not saying all of it.
No,
because there's some people
not.
that take time with their craft. I like a lot of the artists that come out now. They take time with their craft, but it's just quality, you know. Quality takes time. If you cook a meal and you really chop up everything from scratch and you let everything brew and get your roux together, it's a good meal.
That's right.
Or you can microwave it.
Not as good. Yeah, nobody wants that.
No.
So what they do want and love, though, I've seen even SZA spoke out and called your project a flawless masterpiece.
That was very kind of her.
Did you expect that? Were you caught off guard?
No, you know, I don't think about these kind of things. I'm appreciative when I hear it, but it's not like I'm ever like, oh, wow, she likes me. Like, I think I'm dope.
Yeah.
And I think she is. And I think that one knows another. You know what I mean? And I just think it's cool that a lot of the artists that came after me did appreciate it, because I think that I was doing something a little left of what other R&B was doing at the time that kind of has spilled into kind of what's going on currently.
Right.
And it wasn't intentional. It hasn't been a thought about it. But when they started to come to tell me, when they see me or met me, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, because I love them. I love them so much. I don't care if an artist is before me or after me. When I love an artist, I love an artist. So to know that they have that feeling for me, it's just kind of like a compliment, artist to artist.
Yeah, but was it like that coming up? Because
No.
I know, I feel like they've always pinned women against each other. Like you had Monica and Brandy, The Boy Is Mine. Did you have like a R and beef situation?
Never, because that's not my vibe. Like,
Yeah.
I think I'm incomparable, so I don't really compare myself or allow people to compare me. But more so was the indie thing. The girls just didn't respect me as an indie artist. you know?
Really?
Yeah, the girls didn't respect me as an indie artist.
Which is crazy, because I don't think that puts one above the other. It's like, I get the major, you have the backing, but that doesn't mean you have the talent. That doesn't mean you have the drive.
Yeah, but some of them did.
Yeah.
Faith Evans was always
that's
like
true.
just so kind to me. Like, I love her so much. The first time she saw me perform, she just came to me and gave me a hug. And you have to understand, this is Faith Evans. I tried to sing like her.
I love
patterned
Faith.
everything after her. You know what I mean? So some of them were really kind. I think what it boiled down to was who was a real one and who wasn't. You know what I mean? So the real ones kept it real with me.
What about to this day? Like, do you have conversations with like your fellow peers for like Faith? Like,
Yeah.
y'all keep in contact?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when, not Faith, but some of the artists, I won't say their names, some artists went indie after, you know, things were switching over and changing, so they weren't on labels anymore, and they would just call me like, how do you do this, and how, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, tables turn.
Look
Yeah.
at that. And you was gracious enough to
yeah,
give.
because they were cool. They were the people that were cool with me, but even if it was somebody that wasn't, I would still do the same thing, because I understand. I mean, I want to sound like Jesus, but forgive them for they know not what they do.
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm
true.
saying? So it's like, if you don't know, you don't know. I can't hold you accountable for what you don't know. Once you find out you want to come over here, you're welcome.
Yeah. What about Raphael Saadiq's fine ass? You worked with him too. Yeah. Oh my God.
Ain't he? To this day.
Woo. He is so fine, ain't
fine,
it? So like, how do you? Because I know obviously ain't nobody say you just throwing your drawers around.
No.
But somebody like him, I wouldn't mind throwing a drawer at, okay? So like
a drawer.
A drawer, maybe two, maybe a panty or something. But like when it comes to that, and it's like I know you got to keep your cool and still like, but I know they still hitting on you though. I try to tell the young women the best thing you can do is keep it to yourself and get what you can out of people, because once you start giving away your power, you don't have as much control. And I might be a little bit of a control freak, you know what I mean? So I like respect way more than I like attention or love or anything. I like respect, so I just kind of like I stayed to myself, and I made people fall in love with my talent. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And still be cute, still play the game. I like to play the game of you can have it, but you're not going to get it.
I know that's right. So somebody did get it, though, because you got twins.
Yeah. That's my children's father. I met him about 14, Razkaz. He's a rapper out of
which is
Los
so
Angeles,
crazy. I remember Razkaz when I was, because I've been an artist, and I remember he was definitely one of the independent rappers from Cali that always held it down, was always relevant, always around. So how does that affect, do your twins get into music at all?
Oh, yeah, they're in a group called Coast Contra. They're doing really, really well right now.
I know that's right. So, okay, so they come to y'all for advice, I'm sure. No?
I don't know if they go to their dad. They just will tell me their grievances, and then I just keep it real with them sometimes. Yeah. Because this business is frustrating. They're indie like me, you know. So and they kind of have had viral moments.
Yeah.
And that is something you have to explain to people that it means absolutely nothing.
That's very true. You still got work to do.
You got to do work. So, yeah, we have those kind of real conversations. But it's actually, like, the best part of my life right now is seeing them doing something that I struggled with, and it affected them. Yeah. Me being an indie artist, you know. But it didn't affect them in a way that it made them hate it. They're doing it now themselves. And they actually are very proud of me. So it's super cool.
So when you did get pregnant, right? Because I'm seeing a lot of people, like women that are getting to the height of their career and then they get pregnant. Like, not saying that that's a bad thing, but it slows you down. Flo Milli just recently came out and said she's pregnant. Congratulations to her.
Congratulations, Flo Milli.
But then when you're working so hard, right, and it does seem like you're getting to that point where you're really about to take it to the top, and then something like this happens, how were you able to manage both being, because a man, you look at Nick Cannon, he could drop off babies everywhere.
Don't he though?
You get, and he does, and he does. So, but when it comes to being a woman, like how did you manage that? Like having your twins, being pregnant in the height of your career.
That's a really good question. My kids came first. I started after. I had my sons at 20 years old, and I started after. I started rather late for most artists, especially back then, you know, and it was how I was going to eat. I have a very good support system. My family was there for me. And my sons, I had real conversations with them like, listen, we're teammates. Okay, I know you're young, but I'm young too. So you don't get yourself in any trouble, because that's going to affect me. And I'm not going to get myself into trouble, because that's going to affect you. So we're going to all just figure this thing out together. And that's kind of how it went, you know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that hard. It was just, I think for me, how I take everything is, this is my life. Operate the best way you can in it. Don't sit here and complain about it. Just get it done. You know, people ask you, what is it like being a woman in the business? What is it like being a mother? It's just being me. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing. I'm not going to ever look at anything that I am as a deficit, because it's who I am, and I'm a winner. You know what I mean? So I'm going to make my way through it anyway. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of winning, you was winning at Maybach Music. You signed to them at one point. That's still kind of indie, though, didn't you? Did y'all have a deal?
We didn't have a deal. We had a relationship, like association. We sat down to like talk about a deal, and I got some paperwork, but I don't give up publishing.
So that's always going to be the deciding factor.
Listen, honey, I was homeless. I didn't have anywhere to stay, you know, not homeless on the street, but like I'm living here, my kids living there, and I'll never forget, Dip It Low, big money came through. I didn't have any money. I was about to sign a admin deal, not a publishing deal, admin deal for $250,000. And something in the jargon of the contract wasn't right. So my lawyer was like, well, Teedra, we'll come back to it after Christmas, because, you know, everything shut down.
Yeah, shut down.
I'm like, girl, I'm homeless. You know what I mean? Like, I need my money. Baby, before she even got back to me, I had $300,000 and I was getting that every 3 months, 300, 400,000. You know what I mean? So I learned, do not sell it. It's going to save you every time. Now I learned, own your masters as well. You don't have to work as hard when you own stuff. So it's just not an option. I don't care about being famous. I am loved in my real life. So I don't care about being famous, but I do care about getting my bread, though.
I know that's right.
This lifestyle ain't cheap.
So that makes me think, because when I think about like the Justin Biebers and stuff that are selling their whole catalogs, like what would be your advice to somebody who's maybe has not done it? Maybe they're having conversations or talks and they're thinking about selling their catalog. I
mean, it's to each their own, though, right? So Justin Bieber's catalog is probably worth a lot of money. I think about things in longevity. So it's according to how you perceive this thing, right? How you want, what you want out of it. I want to have money for generations, right? So if I own this thing and then it can pass down to my children and then to their children, you know, if whoever owns Billie Holiday estate, they doing good. They all right. You know what I mean? So like that's the way I see it. I see things in longevity. But for him, it might be different. I don't know what that man money situation is. His lifestyle costs a lot, I'm sure. And maybe things he doesn't go on the road like he used to. He's not putting out music like he used to. And maybe it's to his benefit to do so. It's just not for me in the way I think. I think about ownership. My father taught me that. You know, he would say, look at Magic Johnson. He got a lot of money, doesn't he? Yeah, Magic Johnson got a lot of money, Dad. But look at the guy that owns the Lakers. He has way more money because he can pay. But then think about the NBA and what that association acquires. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at life. Like, you know, I want to own mine, and whatever I get out of that, I'm happy with that.
But I love that you're saying that, because I think a lot, especially in our community, we are quick to make the money and then we sell.
Yeah.
Our company, we've seen it happen with, I brought this up the other day, we've seen it happen with Versus. And it's like, it was a great platform. We all got behind it. Then they tried to sell it off. It messed it up. Now they're trying to get it back. They're trying to figure it out, but it's not hitting the same because it's like, you done already tainted it a little bit.
Yeah, you tarnished it. Yeah,
right?
It's unfortunate. I think that we all have to know what we want. You know, if you're going somewhere, don't you have to know the destination? If you have to put something in the navigation to know exactly where you're going to go, you know what I mean? So I think we have to know what we want. And sometimes when we're flailing, it all looks good when you're flailing. But if you have a focus on where you're going, you stay to the plan, you stay the course. You know? Yes.
Okay, so there's a lot of artists out here right now that need advice. Not only is their music terrible, no. Some of their music is good. It's a lot of good music. It's a lot of good music. So they got good music. They need a plan. What's some advice that you would give to a brand new artist that's just getting started?
I don't know how to speak to artists on labels because I don't know how that works, you know. But as an indie artist, I think that if you're starting like very, very beginning started, one of the things I think that people take for granted is the people around them, your community. Your city. Start with your city, your state. You know, you want to get out here and go from 0 to 100. No, got to get to 1 first. You know what I'm saying? So start with your city, your state, and accumulate people that love what you're doing. Stick to what you're doing, first of all. Don't try to keep jumping around to find what people like. Do what you do. The people that are of your tribe will find you. When those people find you, love them enough for them to start to help you with it. Because that's kind of how I got going. It was like, I didn't have major promotions with indie. So you have people in London, Team Teedra. Then you had Team Teedra in Atlanta. You had Team Teedra in D.C. I mean, I think Brett Fires is a great person that's done that. You know, utilizing people that love what you do and so in a way employing them, you know, to saturate your music in whatever market they're in.
Are you still writing for artists now?
I don't care to.
You don't know. That's not an interest
I
anymore.
enjoy writing for myself because I always have to shave myself. And I'm so fully in myself right now that that's not an option. But if someone wants a Teedra Moses song, I'm open to that. You know what I mean? But
I'm asking because of SZA. Because I look at the SZA situation and I like knowing her. We went to the same high school, so knowing her and what she's been through in her life, and she's written her songs, and I just felt like even though she signed to a label, I feel like y'all journeys are similar when it comes, especially when it comes to writing and stuff. So I just would love to see the two of y'all. And clearly, I feel like that when people do stuff like tweet things like that, that's like, hey, over here.
Yeah, I would love that because I think her pen is ridiculous.
I think so too.
And I think she knows how to convey her emotions so well in a way that is particular to her but relatable to every woman. Do you understand?
Yes.
So yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to do that. And I'm down to write with and for people that I really enjoy, but the hustle of writing for people is a lot of times like a lot of rejection or can you change this?
I can see that. I can see that.
You know?
Well, I also could see the two of y'all making a flawless masterpiece together. So I'm hoping that happens. Now, let us know what you're working on right now, because the people want to support you. We love you. Where can they do that and celebrate you 20 years?
Yes, you can always go to teedramoses.com because we got so much merch there that I'm selling, lifestyle costs, like I said.
Come on now.
As well, we are working on a reimagined version of Complex Simplicity. We're doing just a few songs with artists. SZA is one I want to do one with.
Come on, SZA.
So I'm going to reach out to her. I don't know her like that, so I'm going to figure out getting to her.
We'll figure it out.
Reimagining records. I just did one with Duran Bernard, who is one of my very good friends. He's nominated for a Grammy right now.
Wow.
We have another one coming in the next probably about a week or so that we reimagine. Just kind of putting together a few of the records and reimagining them with people that came up to this music and has a love for this album. And that's what I'm focused on right now. And then we're heading over. We're gonna do a tour, a run for the celebration of 20 years of Complex Simplicity on the West Coast. Then we're gonna take it to Europe, and then I'm gonna come back with new music. I have so much of it. I
love that. Yeah. Well, I cannot wait to hear what you have new for us. We're excited to hear that. Also, I feel like in my mind I have a job for you, and the job is I think you should be one of the, like, they should do a songwriting competition and you should be one of the judges for that, because I feel like you have great insight. And I feel like the way that your pen game is so crazy, you can definitely dissect other people. So whoever has a network that's ready to get my girl Teedra Moses as a judge,
Let's go. And then you can host it.
There we go. Look at that. We haven't seen. Look at that. Pay it forward. Okay. Teedra Moses, thank you so much for stopping by the Morning Hustle Show. It's been amazing.
Yes, I love it. Thank you.
We are the Morning Hustle.